Now over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Ishita Anand, along with my co-host, Rolly Yadav, welcome you all to the last day of Value Added Workshop 2023. It's a workshop on value addition, life skills, ethics, and human values. We are honored to have our director of Amity School of Languages, Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray, our respected professors, and all my dear colleagues.
As said by Beatrice Vincent, the people with whom you work reflect your own attitude. If you are suspicious, unfriendly, and condescending, you will find these
I can't hear you.
traits.
You can't be heard.
Ma'am, am
Dr.
I audible now?
Shraddha,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Are
Ma'am,
we
am I
ready to
audible
start
now?
the session? I can't hear.
But we can hear you, ma'am.
Shraddha ma'am, are we
Aakash,
audible
dekho
on
zara.
your computer?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, ma'am.
As said by Beatrice Vincent, the people with whom you work reflect your own attitude. If you are suspicious, unfriendly, and condescending, you will find these unlovely traits echoed everything about you. But if you are on your best behavior, you will bring out the best in the persons with whom you are going to spend most of your working hours. With this quote, I would like to welcome our Honorable Director of Amity School of Languages, Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray ma'am, graduated from Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University. She was awarded with the best thesis for her PhD degree on Henry Louis Vivian de Rossi, the first Anglo-Indian nationalist poet. She is an educational social activist with 46 years of teaching experience. She is the member of the Area Advisory Board and Board of Studies of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Her anthology, Breathe Free, Flow Free, challenges literary narratives through poems. We are privileged to have her as our inspiration. Let's warmly welcome Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray ma'am.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Rolly. And I'm so privileged to have Apoorva Shukla with us. I'm very thankful to her for having spared your time, and I'm sure your words will add a lot of meaning to value addition of our participants. Good afternoon, dear participants. On the last day of this workshop, there is a lot to carry in our baggage of learning, and I hope every participant's personality has added more value to it. So with these words, I welcome Apoorva Shukla, and I'm so thankful to you, ma'am, for having joined us today on this platform. I would also like to thank Shraddha, who is the quiet worker for organizing such events, and all the faculty members, the team of students, the team of faculty that has been my backbone for all events at Amity School of Languages. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such lovely words. And I am Apoorva Shukla, as you all know by now. I'm just starting my presentation on interpersonal skills. I hope it is visible to all of you.
Sorry to interrupt you. Our anchors will introduce you. Kind, please give us permission.
Okay. I'm really sorry.
No issue, no issue. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for your precious words and blessing us with your knowledge and grandeur and insights. The ability to demonstrate effective interpersonal skills at work is a consistent process. Or, as Teddy Roosevelt said, the most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. We now cordially welcome our guest, Ms. Apoorva Shukla, clinical hypnotherapist based in Lucknow, is one of the most renowned clinical psychologists in area. She has been practicing in Uttar Pradesh for a very long time now. She completed her education from Lucknow. She did her bachelor's from Mahila Degree College, Aminabad, in psychology in 2019, and then her master's from Amity University Lucknow campus in clinical psychology in 2021. She took her special diploma course on clinical hypnotherapy from Jagriti Institute of Hypnosis. I now invite her to speak on the topic and elaborate further about the importance of interpersonal skills. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Is the PPT visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So my topic for today is interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills involve two person or more than two person to communicate and understand each other. It is a skill required not only for business purposes or your professional life, but also very important in your daily life. In order to understand others and make yourself understandable to others, it is very important for you to master this. It is often known as social skills, people skills, soft skills, and life skills. So basically, it is a skill required for effective and productive communication. It includes communication skills that can be verbal and non-verbal as well. Coming to the verbal communication, formulating in words what you want to convey in a way that the recipient understands is one of the crucial part of communication, verbal communication skill. As a recipient, participating in active listening and being open to understand what the other person is trying to say is an integral part. Hence, it is a two-way communication. The other person who is the listener is also contributing by lending you the ears. When I'm saying that you are listening, active listening is the word that I have used, not hearing. What is the difference between the two? The very difference between the two is when you are hearing, that is a sound that is coming into your ear, and you may or may not process it. But when you are listening actively, you are being prepared to listen. You have an open mind. You are concentrating on the words and the gestures of the speaker. Also, a very important part of it is to drop all the judgments that you have, the preconceived notions that you have while you are listening. At times, in between the conversation, your input is through your non-verbal communication by your body gestures, and we will discuss in detail about the non-verbal communication in the next slide. It also includes your head nod, your eye movement, your facial expression, through which you communicate to the other person that you are actually processing what he or she is saying. At times, it may also involve paraphrasing and asking open ended questions. Open ended questions are those which allow the speaker to narrate all that is coming into his or her mind. Yeah. Now, coming to the importance and use of communication skill, it is very important to improve your personal relationships as well as your professional relationships by understanding others and by being understood by the others as well. In today's world, being a practicing psychotherapist, I can say that the majority of the relationships, and our researchers also say so, that majority of the relationships are influenced and are on the verge of breaking or not working properly because of the communication. So what people lack mostly is communication, and it is such an irony that in today's world where communication is such an easy process, through social media one can communicate, we have a lot many apps to communicate and to express what we feel, yet we feel the most misunderstood, right? So you often have heard people saying, or you must have said this, I think we both are not on the same page anymore. We are not able to understand each other. Our vibes are not matching. I don't understand why you do this to me. Or you might have felt hurt or sad. This doesn't even only happen in your romantic relationships, it also happens in your personal relationship with your friends, maybe with your colleagues, within your family member, with your parents, with your supervisors or teachers, faculties, right? It is everywhere, it happens everywhere. So the basic core and the gist of all of it is that if at all you are able to communicate in such a manner that other person understands you and you understand what the other person is saying, the 50% of your problem within your relationships would be resolved. Another example can be that many a times you must have observed that someone with less efficiency, less work efficiency according to you, does great in his or her job. Around you also you must have observed someone who might not have empowered the skills as much as you do, but still is more successful and is getting more opportunity than you. Have you ever pondered why is it that so? Mostly it is because they have developed social skills and their life skills. They know how to and what to communicate to the other person in a verbatim, in words in which other person would understand, and that understanding between two persons have given them a lot many opportunities. Now, according to Chris Erigaidis, in 1970, he researched upon why this happened, and he introduced a ladder of inference in communication. By ladder of inference, he meant the procedure, the process, the mental process by which you deduce conclusion of any communication, anything you hear, anything you read, how you deduce conclusion of that is known as ladder of inference. Now, how this ladder of inference influence your communication? It says that your conclusion of any situation, of any communication, is majorly based on your past experiences. So you are not seeing current situation and current communication as it is. It is majorly influenced by your past. This is very well explained and traced in psychotherapy and hypnotherapy sessions as well. People come with loads and loads of problems ranging from being misunderstood to inability to communicate. And majority of the times, problem lies in interpretation of the situation because they operate from something that has happened with them in the past. But not everyone in every situation requires a session or therapy for it, right? So we will also see what are the ways to develop the skills, and we will see that emotional intelligence, teamwork, resolution, and problem solving and decision making skills play key role in developing your interpersonal skills. Before dwelling into that, let's understand non-verbal communication. 70 to 80% of the communication that happens between you and the other person is non-verbal. Only 20% is the value of the words that you are using. When I say non-verbal communication, I mean your physical appearance, how you are dressed for the situation. If you are going in a business meeting dressed casually, it portrays that you are not interested in the meeting. But when you are well dressed as per the occasion, that shows your interest for the situation. Even if at times you are not prepared or you do not want, but still carry yourself well, that means you have allowed yourself to be present and to be a good listener or part of the communication. Then comes the kinesics, your body movements, the gestures. Have you ever, can you recall a time when you must have said that someone is saying something to you and you do not believe that person? You say, no, 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 he is saying that, but I think that he is lying. I'm not able to trust his words. Why this happens? Because even when we are not an expert of the body language, we do observe. Our psyche is made in a way that observes body language, right? So by the virtue of that, whenever we are not able to trust someone, that means something in their body language is telling us not to, or something that we are observing is telling us not to, right? Then comes proxemics. Proxemics means the distance between you and the other person. When you are very close to someone, your distance, your physical distance between them is less than when you are not that close to someone. Then touch as well says a lot of things. Like for example, when you are again close to someone and well bonded with someone, you tend to touch them more often than someone you have just met or you are not that comfortable with. Researchers also say that chronomics or use of time, if you have been called somewhere, if you are approaching on time, you are arriving on time or not, also tells your wish and your willingness to participate in the communication. Majorly, the study of non-verbal communication are done in two parts, dividing your body into face and the rest of the body. Rest of the body, as we have seen, consists of physical appearance, kinesics, proxemics, haptics, and chronomics. And your face includes oculesics. Oculesics means the blinking rate of the eye. When you are looking here and there while listening to someone, not maintaining a healthy eye contact, there is a difference between maintaining healthy eye contact and staring at someone. So when you are making a healthy eye contact, nodding, that is paralanguage, and making some hand gestures, eye gestures, facial expressions, maybe smiling when he is or she is telling something good, frowning when something sad or bad is narrated to you, comes under face and your facial expressions, right? So, coming to what is the prerequisite to develop all these interpersonal skills that we are talking about and how to master it. So, the first and foremost thing is know what you want. Whenever you are communicating with someone, you need to understand in each and every communication what the other person wants from you and what you want from that communication. The understanding of where you are coming from, understanding of your past packages, and an understanding of what other person can contribute, how he or she can contribute, and what he must be expecting is very important to develop a healthy and to convey and deduce what is your motive from that communication. Experiences, everyone is coming from their own culture and social background, and all of this influence their past experience, their socio-cultural background, their economical background, the area where they have lived, the kind of experiences they have in their life, with the kind of people they have met in their life, influence the deduction as well, as we have seen in the ladder of inference. So you need to ask again. Now you see how it is making a cycle. In order to ask for what you want, you need to be very precise and very clear and know what you want. So knowing what you want, and then comes asking for what you want. Then, as we discussed, you also have to know what other person wants. You need to understand where the other person is coming from, and you need to accept that in two-way communication, when we are talking, when we are saying that communication is a two-way process, then if you are getting something, then the other person should also benefit or should get something. It can be anything, it can be just so the understanding of being heard, the understanding of being listened to. It can be, it can be that feeling of that someone is being heard without any judgment, and you are giving the space for them to open up, and you are not going to judge them for whatever they say. Now comes freedom to say no. Again, it is a two-way process. Freedom to say no should be with you as well as with the other person. When you say no, other person accepts, and when he or she says no, you don't like it or couldn't carry it, won't work. Right? So freedom of saying no, freedom of difference. You and your friend can differ in their opinion, yet come together to on the same page to work on certain things. Like for example, we have organized this value addition workshop. It is huge. Many people have come together to for it to function and for it to go smoothly as it is going. The opinions and the mindset, the idea of how it will commence might be different for every individual, but it is commencing well and smoothly because everyone discussed their opinion, and they have mentally come to a same conclusion. They have that certain level of understanding and adjustment that all of you must have done in your own space. So freedom of saying no, and then acting in accordance to your values. Something that is not resonating with you will reflect in some manner or another in your body language. As we have already discussed that 70 to 80% of the communication is non-verbal. So it is impossible for a person to hide and to pretend for a very long period of time. And then finally comes negotiating conflicting wants. If you want something and other person wants something else, you you have to have that level of understanding that you can talk it out and you can convey your part and listen to the other's perspective and finally come to a term where you both can settle down. In order to develop all these skills, the most important is intrapersonal skills. Intrapersonal skills means how you talk with yourself, how you communicate with your own self, how you understand your emotions, and how you deal with your emotions. In here, I would like to quote Daniel Goleman, who says, who talks about emotional intelligence or emotional quotients and has described it as the ability to realize and manage one's behavior. It plays a pivotal role in growth, success, and development of great communication skills. Emotional skills, emotional intelligence, when we talk about, it is not only about understanding and managing your own behavior and emotion. It is also about understanding and managing behavior of others. We have discussed an example before of someone who is not that skilled or that adept in certain skill but has great interpersonal skills, and that person tend to get more job opportunities, more value than someone who has great skill but zero or less interpersonal skills. Daniel Goleman explains this example with the help of emotional intelligence. He says that someone who has greater emotional intelligence or high emotional intelligence has better interpersonal skills. This person can understand and change their own emotional state as well as the emotional state of someone else. He has divided emotional intelligence into two parts: personal emotional intelligence and social emotional intelligence. Personal emotional intelligence contains self awareness, self regulation, motivation, personal drive to improve, achieve, and commitment towards your own goal. Whereas social emotional intelligence include empathy and social skills. In social skills, he has included influence, communication, conflict management, leadership skills, changing catalyst, building bonds, collaboration and cooperation, and team capabilities. Team, by all of these social skills, he meant that how approachable you are, how sharing and open to how much open to share and open to listen you are, how trustworthy you are, and the more you have developed all these skills, you become more and more charismatic in your persona. Study also shows that someone who has high IQ, high intellectual quotient doesn't necessarily have high emotional quotient. High emotional quotient can be developed by practicing certain techniques like journaling. Now, journaling doesn't mean that you just write down whatever happened with you and how you felt about the situation, but it has a certain procedure which includes writing what the situation was, then how what thought it provoked within you, what emotion it provoked within you, and finally how you behaved. Now, this kind of journaling also, it is also included in the cognitive behavior therapy. Why do we do that? To make our client or to make ourselves more to develop our own emotional intelligence. Because when you understand a situation, when you understand what the situation was, what your thoughts were, how your emotions, how your feelings were, and finally how you behaved, you are able to also draw how much of your reaction is coming from some past event. And again, as we have seen in ladder of inference, your past influence on many things reduces, right? Coming to the next thing, how to develop these skills again: knowing yourself, setting boundaries, healthy connection with self, and reflecting and learning, right? So, like I have just said, journaling, then setting the boundaries where all you can mend your things and where all you cannot should be very clear in your mind, and accordingly you set your boundary. Healthy connection with the self. If you are over criticizing to yourself, if you are over judgmental on your own uh, ways of communication or ways of behaving, then you will be so for others as well. Or at times, people who are overcritical to them tend to be very, very generous and lenient with others. So, both extremes are not healthy and not good and will not serve the purpose. Again and again, coming back and reflecting to where you are coming from and accordingly changing your behavior. Right. And when you are working in a team, understanding and maintaining the behavior of others, being diverse in your approach, being understanding of where other person is coming from, and again avoiding labels and labeling yourself as well as labeling others helps. When we talk about negotiating in communication, then or conflict management or conflict resolution, we mean coming down to a win-win situation within peers, within among your friends, among your between your authorities and you. It can be anywhere and everywhere, or whosoever you're communicating with. You need to come to a win-win conclusion for both of them. So again, knowing what you want and what other person wants helps in here. Listen to people. People always and always without any exception say what they want. If only you are vigilant enough and you are ready to listen to what they are saying, you will understand where they are coming from. It is not a, you need not to have any miraculous skill that will help you to understand what other person wants. They say it in their behavior, in their communication, in their words, in their expression. You will get to what they are saying and what they want. So listening is very, very important. Then empathy. Once you have understood what other person wants from you, it is very important for you to accept that person, no matter for you how much rubbish it may sound or how much childish it may sound. Be empathetic to the other person. Be understanding that certain situation in his or her life might have contributed to this personality of his. And once you accept the person, the other person also understands and is ready to change. Developing a two-way filter, not letting others breach your boundary and not breaching someone else's boundary, and accepting the difference, letting go of the hurdles of the of the things that might cause a dispute between you two is very important. So practicing all these things will help you develop. Now As we have I have been working on indigenous skills from past a year. I would also like to share that with you all as well. These are the quick fixes deeply rooted in our Indian culture, and they tell us how to develop and enhance these our interpersonal skills. The first and the foremost is said that it is said in our Indian culture that Shabd Brahm or Nad Brahm. Shabd Brahm or Nad Brahm means that this entire universe has been created by a sound only, as we have also studied in science, Big Bang theory. Right. So very early in our Vedic era, it is being said that the entire universe has been made only from the sound. So this is the importance that sound has been given. Now, when we are talking in terms of communication, sound means your verbatims, your words that you use, the language that you use. So when we say Shabd Brahm, and when we are giving that much importance to Shabd, it means that we are giving that much power to our words as well, right? So choosing our words very, very wisely, what to say, when to say, and how to say, right? It is also said in our culture that once in 24 hours, Goddess Saraswati resides in on your tongue and manifests whatever you say. This is where affirmations are coming from. Law of attraction and affirmation, we are all are aware of. It is no rocket science nowadays. In affirmations, also we say that use your words wisely. There is the universe doesn't understand the negative connotation or positive connotation. It will manifest whatever you say. So use your words wisely. Then mastering your verbal communication, hence we can say, is coming from Shabd Brahm. Next comes Sadharnikaran. Sadharnikaran was in a term introduced by Bhatnayak in Natya Shastra. It is the essence of communication that lays in achieving commonness and oneness. When someone performs, suppose someone is performing a dance for you on stage, and you are sitting in an audience just observing, but then there's a connect between the movements, the dance movements, and you. Similarly, when you watch a play or a movie, you're just watching. No one is actively communicating with you, but you're just observing the dialogues, and certain things, certain situation, or certain words are resonating, certain dialogues are resonating with you, and in response, your heart is overwhelmed, which is known as sahard. सौहार्द भी कहते हैं इसे. So essence of communication reaches the audience, reaches the listener, and hence what you are, whatever you want to convey, your body language should also convey the same. You need to understand and you need to be very watchful that your body language, your facial expression in gestures, and your words are in sync when you are communicating. Now, next comes the shlok. This shlok has been taken from Bhagavad Gita, and it says, Anudveg karam vakyam satyam prihitam chayat swadhyay bhyasanam chavavarnmyam tap uchyate. That means austerity of speech consists in speaking in a manner that should not agitate others' mind, that should not enkindle base emotion of a listener. It should be truth, should be beneficial to the listener, should be pleasant in hearing, and when you are communicating in such a manner, it is only such communication that can affect and yield the desired result. And this is possible only and only after self study. In our Indian culture, intrapersonal and interpersonal skills were not very different. In Vedic communications, it has been said that interpersonal skills are developed by developing intrapersonal skills. If you are not a if you do not communicate well with yourself, you cannot communicate well with anyone else. Now, the very famous Chanakya Niti. Chanakya has said in his work, in his books, in his life, he has said that manipulation is not bad. Manipulation is very healthy process if it is beneficial for you and the other person both. If your manipulation is hurting someone, is causing harm to someone, then that is bad. But if manipulating helps you and the other person achieve a common goal without harming anyone, it is not bad. It is not considered something that will bring you in a bad light. So Shabdabram, Sadharnikaran and Chanakya Niti along with the Bhagavad Gita shlok has a way of spiritual communication in India. And of course, it also focuses on intrapersonal communication. As I'll quote again from Bhagavad Gita, Atmavat sarvabhuteshu ya pashyati sa panditaha. Treating everyone else as you treat yourself is the true learning. The true achiever or true orator is someone who treats, who uses his words as he would like to listen. With that, I would like to conclude my lecture on interpersonal skills. And again, I would say that the first step towards development of interpersonal skills is to develop intrapersonal skills. Now, if any one of you have any question, any query, you can ask me.
Ma'am, I would request you to shed some light on how psychology plays a role in these interpersonal skills and what type of personalities one must have to be a social, uh, you know, uh, communicator with a lot of social skills. Children must know this, that their attitudes of pessimism or optimism makes them good social interactors.
Definitely, ma'am. As I have already said also, and as you very rightly said, the word optimism that I have missed and have not used in my lecture, most of the problems that are arising in life, in your daily communication, when you are not able to convey what you want, or when you are not able to have a healthy relationship. Many people come to me with their relationship issues, maybe with boyfriend, with girlfriend, with their children even. The basic line is how you communicate with yourself. When you have a optimistic approach towards life and towards yourself, when you are not overcritical of your own deeds and your own ways of working, obviously that helps you develop the same skills with the other person. When you are over criticizing of yourself, when you are having a pessimistic lifestyle, that means that when you are not able to achieve something, you are holding yourself responsible for that. Not only responsible for that, you are labeling yourself as not good enough. You might be labeling yourself as no, I cannot, it won't happen from me, I cannot do this, or I'm not good enough. When such connotation you attach with yourself, then you tend to ruin your communication with yourself, and when your communication with yourself is ruined, then your communication with others are also affected. Someone who feels that overburdening oneself is okay, draining oneself is okay, and being pessimistic about life is okay, will always tell others that no, you are just making huge scene out of this situation, nothing as such. You are denying your emotion as well as the emotions of other person as well. So developing a positive attitude for yourself and for others definitely plays an important role in developing your interpersonal skills. How to do that? One step can be to accept that okay, this time I was not able to do this, but I can do better next time. Now, just saying that and dropping won't help. After saying that, you need to make a list of how you can approach the same situation next time. And one by one, you can start working on it. Divide the situation into smaller parts and start communicating. Start following that. So that is one way in which it can help. It can be helpful. Another important thing what I have seen is people come to me and they say that my you are not understanding my problem. My situation is different from others. So everyone is coming from same communication lag, but yet saying that my situation is different from someone else. What we are actually trying to say when we say this is my situation is more painful. And when you again and again say this, of course, it will be manifesting in your personality, in your behavior, in your body language. No matter how optimistic word you utter, it won't go in the heads of other person. So yeah.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question. That like today we are seeing that world has turned more materialistic and not realistic. So everybody has communication skills, like, and they are losing empathy in their while they communicate. So, what are your comments upon it?
See, if someone is running after materialistic thing, it might also be coming from a lack. I'm not getting the desired love or attention from my family or from my husband, maybe. So I am running towards materialistic thing because I think that might satiate me and that might satiate my emotions. है ना? When we say
Yes, ma'am.
that we need to be realistic or we or someone that me not everyone is influenced by the same thing, no. So you need to understand where what your emotions are, where your lag is coming from, and that eventually will develop and take you towards a more empathetic attitude.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Are
you,
there
ma'am,
any
for
further
answering the
questions?
doubts. And thank you, ma'am, for taking out time from your busy schedule and for your informatory and illuminating words. We truly appreciate your professionalism for the points you made. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
This brings us to the end of the last day of our 2 week value addition workshop. Thank you all for your patience and participation. Now we have a small presentation to provide you all with some glimpses of the whole workshop. I would like to request Abhinav to share the screen. The beginning of our value added workshop 2023 was a beautifully done. The students of ASL remarkably coordinated to make the offline event a success. Our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Anand Prakash Maheshwari, IPS, addressed the audience a valuable lecture on life skills. Our respected HOI, Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray, addressed the students on the values of life. She has been an immense support for ASL. Our esteemed Wing Commander Anil Tiwari, Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor and Director ASET, Amity University Lucknow campus, addressed the audience about ethics, values, and gave an introduction about the motive of the workshop. Students performed a welcome dance, and Mimesis Dramatics and Films Club, Amity School of Languages, presented a mesmerizing yet valuable short skit on Sri Krishna Arjun Samvad. In Mahabharata, named Arjun Ka Prashn, the day one of our workshop was a successful day. The second day of the value added workshop by Amity School of Languages was conducted online on MS Teams on 11 July 2023. It began with the address by our esteemed HOI, Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray, to our guests and participants. Our expert guest speaker, Dr. Jyoti Diwan, addressed the students about creativity. She talked about the characteristics of creativity, its definition and scope. She gave a detailed explanation to the models of creativity and problem solving skills through the examples of Amul's creative promotion strategy and NEP 2020. The session was interactive and a huge success. The series of sessions for 3 weeks came to its third day of the value added workshop. Our expert guest for the day, Mr. Prakash D, an IPS, addressed the participants about employability skills. He emphasized on employability skills that are essential skills, personal qualities, and values that enable you to thrive in any workplace. These are also called enterprise skills, communication skills, or workplace skills. The session was interactive and participants were satisfied with the answers to their questions to the guest.
On the 10th day, that is on the 21st July 2023, after our esteemed HOI's welcome speech and inspirational words, we had Dr. Mala Tandon as our guest speaker, who shared her knowledge of ethical codes, its benefit in a student's life, and its necessity in the professional space. The session gave an insight to how one can adhere to ethical codes and create a harmonious environment. It was an enlightening workshop. The third week of the value added workshop began with the address by our esteemed director, Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray, to the participants and our guest speaker, Dr. Neeraj Pandey, who covered a range of coping strategies for stress management, including physical activities like exercise and yoga, creative outlets like art and writing, and seeking social support. Participants were encouraged to explore different coping methods that resonated with their individual preferences. She also emphasized the importance of positive thinking and introduced techniques for reframing negative thoughts. The 12th day of the Values Added Workshop 2023 by Amity School of Languages was conducted online on MS Teams on 11th July 2023. It began with the address by our esteemed HOI Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray to our guests and participants. Our guest speaker, Dr. Jayanti Srivastav, spoke on the topic Vedic knowledge, a tool to a conscious lifestyle, morals, and spirituality for self management. She enlightened us all by explaining the importance of Vedas in our day to day life. She shared her meaningful experiences to give insights about how one should adopt during these changing times through the lessons that are present in the Vedas. The 14th day of the Values Added Workshop 2023 by Amity School of Languages was conducted online on MS Teams on 27 July 2023. It began with the address by our esteemed HOI Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray to our guests and participants. Our guest speaker, Professor Pooja Verma, conducted an enriching hour-long skill development session encompassing cognitive, soft, and hard skills. Participants left equipped with valuable insights and actionable strategies to enhance personal and professional growth, empowered to implement these skills effectively.
I would like to thank Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray ma'am and our guest speaker, along with all the faculty, student coordinators, and the wonderful audience for this successful session. We hope that this workshop reshapes our perspectives. The assignment has been posted and the submission of them is solicited. Kindly complete and submit it latest by 8 p.m. today. The assignment must be completed on time to be considered for certificates.
Now we have reached the end of this workshop. We would like to express our gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker of today's workshop session, Ms. Apoorva Shukla, and Honorable Professor Dr. Kumkum Ray ma'am, contributing their precious time off of their busy schedule. We look forward to conducting more such workshops and staying connected, not just via such knowledgeable and productive workshops, but also otherwise to keep this healthy relation maintained. Wishing everyone a fruitful day ahead. Thank you.